Hey, this is Patrick from Frontly. Today I'm going to be building an app from scratch, starting with the spreadsheets. And the goal of this app is to be able to take job postings that I've found online and use AI to create a little bit of a summary or really a generated output that I can put inside an outbound sales email to personalize the email. So that's the plan. So we're going to use a bit of AI. We're going to use a bit of some actions and some other things. So I'm just going to build it in real time. So here's my spreadsheet. Right now I just have recruiter, job title, job description, AI content. Now, off the top of my head, I guess it would make sense to have company, and I think that's fine. So the recruiter will be the name of the recruiter, company name, job title, job description, and then AI content will be what I generate. Haven't really decided too much exactly how this is going to go, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import this. So I'll get this into my app and then we'll start working with it. So I'm just going to quickly name this because I didn't name my tab. So I'm going to call this job postings. And now I'm going to create a page, and I guess I'll just call this job postings. So I'm really just figuring this out in real time just to show you the full process of building an app from scratch. So I suppose the way that I want this to work is I want to be able to add a new job posting, and then when I do, I want to maybe do some AI stuff. So why don't I start with a form? I'll connect it to my job postings, and then I will make this a create mode form. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go turn off the grid layout so these fields are nice and big, and then I'm actually going to hide a few of these fields. So the AI content is not something that will be generated at this, it won't be input into this form, I should say. So the recruiter name, that's fine. Company, job title, description, those are fine. Now the description, since this is actually going to be a lot of text pasted in, presumably, I'm going to go and I'm going to make this a bigger field. So I made it a text area, and then I set the minimum height to 200 pixels. All that does is it just expands it here, makes it nicer. I won't worry about the styling and stuff of this page, so we'll just kind of go from there. I'll change the submit button text to say add job posting. So let's see here. Okay, so that's great. I could save this. Now we have a page that would at least allow me to add job postings to that spreadsheet through this form. So I guess what I really want to do is I want to create a submit action. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger an OpenAI request. So now I get to type in my prompt. This is pretty straightforward. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the object type, which can be used if I want to provide multiple outputs from the AI in the same request, which is kind of nice. I don't know if I necessarily need multiple, but I kind of like using the object anyway because I am able to also provide a description here specifically for the field. I can provide descriptions here as well, but there's a few different ways to do it. So, all right, the prompt is going to be based on the job description below, generate a 2-sentence, let's say 1-sentence description of how Frontly can solve or let's say can improve efficiency for the role they are hiring for. Frontly is a no-code app building platform that lets you build AI-powered apps that streamline workflows. So I don't really know how this is going to perform in terms of the actual AI response. Like, I haven't actually done this before, but I think this is just kind of the first iteration of it. So especially with AI, there's always a process of kind of writing a prompt, seeing what the output's like, and then we could come back and add more training examples and stuff like that later. So what I'm going to do here is I need to put in my variable. So I have these double brackets on either side, and then inside that, I'm going to put form.job description. So this job description here is just the exact field name here. So it does have to be case sensitive, but that's pretty much all you have to worry about. So we're going to submit the form. We're going to run this prompt through the AI. And then, you know what? I actually don't really need this object type right now. We can probably just do text. One thing that I'm kind of just curious what it's going to be just as it is. So if I close this, so form.jobDescription, that looks good. So that's going to trigger this OpenAI request. That's great. It's not going to actually do anything with that response yet because I haven't told it what to do. So if I just think about the logic of this, so I have a page, there's a form, I'll submit the form, and it's going to run the AI request. Now I have to do something with that request. So I think in this case, I think I want to create a new row in a Google Sheet, and then I'll navigate to, let's see, do I want to navigate to another page? Well, I could just show it all on this one page, I guess. I think I'll probably add it to a Google Sheet. That seems more reasonable because I do want it to save, but then what I want to do is I also want it to be editable afterwards. So I think I'll have to think about the best way to do this. So I'll create a new row, and it's auto-populated this, which it does when I'm using the form. So that's really nice. So basically everything is auto-filled, but that's assuming that this AI content is coming from the form. So that's actually the only one that I need to change. If I delete this entirely, I can go into my little insert variable window, and I can say step 1. And so if I do that, that's actually all I need to do. So now the other values are going to come directly from the form, and the AI content is going to come from the response of the OpenAI action. So that's great. I don't really have to do anything else here. And so now, there are so many different things that I can do in Frontly, but I think in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to then navigate to another page. Now, I didn't create another page yet, so let's come back to this. So I'm going to hit save. I'm going to create a page called Outreach Editor. And on this page, I'll have another form. I don't know if this seems redundant to have all these different pages, but sometimes I like isolating the functionality on its own page. It makes it run faster. It just makes it a little easier to manage. So in this case, we're creating another form. It's still going to be connected to the job postings, but this time it's in edit mode. So we know that whenever we get to this page, this is like the detail view for a specific record that we've created. And so this row ID is going to have to point at the Frontly ID of the row we want to edit. So that is going to be dynamic in this case. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use URL parameters to store that. So I will show you what it looks like on this side, and then we'll go set up the URL parameters on the other side. So insert variable, click on URL parameters. It's just asking me for a field. I can use whatever field ID I want to use. In my case, I think I'm just going to make it ID. So this is telling Frontly that there's going to be a parameter in the URL up here when we're viewing this page that says ID equals something. And whatever that something is the row ID that it's going to use. It's going to pull those values from the spreadsheet. So if I go back to my job postings and I go to my custom submit action, then I can now select my outreach editor, and I can add a URL param here. I know that the key I chose was ID. Could be anything, but ID is just nice and short, so it doesn't take up too much space in the URL. And then the value is going to be we're going to use the step variable again. So this time, now we have 2 step options, because the first step is the OpenAI request. Second step is the Google Sheet row creation. So if I choose the second step, now I'm getting the value of the newly created row in the Google Sheet. In this case, so this gets the whole row, which isn't very useful on its own, but I can get a specific field from that newly created row, which in this case, the Frontly ID is what I want. So just to recap, we're submitting the form. It's going to create some AI response based on my prompt. It's going to try to essentially pitch how Frontly can improve the efficiency of the role that they're hiring for based on this description that was provided. And then it's going to add that to the Google Sheet. And then it's going to send us to another page where we can essentially edit that newly created one. So this is the create page. And then on this page, this is where we'll edit it. So I'll do the same thing I did stylistically. I'll take the grid layout or turn it off. And now it's pretty similar, except this AI content is going to be some actual content. At this point, I'm assuming this is going to be plain text. It could be Markdown, and if it were, then I could choose this Markdown editor. I think I'll just keep it as a text area for now, because I'm actually, the way I set it up, it should just pretty much be doing it in plain text. In fact, I could help ensure that by actually telling it, hey, in a plain text sentence. I probably should, because otherwise the AI is just going to make up things. So I'll show you the kind of final step here. So I think this is all I need to do for that. I'm kind of just curious if I will be able to, if this works. So I think at this point, before doing anything else, I should probably test it. Now, what I should also do is I should probably, I don't know what we want to call this. I'll call this like, posting detail. I don't know, whatever. Okay, so we've got our page. This is the original job postings page. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paste in some stuff. So I do have some actual job descriptions from just from LinkedIn, where I actually went and was just looking at these job descriptions to use for this. So I'm going to paste in this whole job description. Job title, I think all of them were admin assistant. And the company, actually doesn't matter. Let's call this, Joe Enterprises. And then the recruiter will be John Smith. Okay, so I'm going to add this job posting. Fingers crossed that everything is going to work as we expected. And I guess we'll just see. So I'm going to hit add job posting. It's running. A new record was created. We're now, it seems like that worked. We've navigated to the outreach editor page. We've got all the information we already pasted in, except now it says Frontly can enhance the efficiency of the executive administrative assistant role by automating routine tasks such as calendar management, report generation, allowing the assistant to focus on more strategic responsibilities while ensuring seamless communication and workflow. Honestly, that was pretty great considering I didn't really give it any training examples or anything like that. So what I will do is I'm going to go back to my form just to show you that if I wanted to in this OpenAI request. So yeah, like I said, if we really wanted to make this a little more complicated, we could set this to be like an object, and we could add three different fields. We could say benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3, and we could force the AI to essentially output something more structured that we could then kind of plop into certain parts of our outbound email theoretically. But just for the sake of this, I think this keeps it simple. Same thing goes for training examples. So if you add a training example, what it does is it gives you the opportunity to enter a prompt and a response. So all you're doing is you're just saying, hey, here's an example of a real prompt and a response that essentially either actually happened or one that you would want the AI to pay attention to. And that does give a significantly better or at least more consistent output from the AI, just because it at least has an example. Ideally, you'd probably add at least 2 or 3, if not more, but that does eat up tokens as well. So keep that in mind every single time. And also, this wasn't even using GTP 4o. This is using GTP 4o mini, which is actually pretty good. But if you add your own OpenAI API key, then you're also having the ability to use the most powerful model. So with all that said, I think this is fine. And really now the whole idea about this app is you get to generate something with AI, and then you get to edit it and save it. So I mean, I don't have to do anything else. The form block automatically handles the ability for me to be able to edit this and, and make changes and save it. So if I hit save, that's just automatically handled. No problem there. I suppose if I wanted to, I could add a page with a table or something like that. What I was sort of imagining, just to sort of complete this thought, is if I wanted to have a page where I actually see that final output and I see it in a way that is kind of, I guess, structured. There's a few different ways to do it. So I'm going to go to the Outreach editor, and this is kind of a unique way of doing it, but I think it could be cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a text block down here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to give this a label of email preview. So then I'll make this nice and large, make it very bold, and then I'm going to create another text block below it, and this is just going to render the email preview. So this is going to be interesting. How am I going to do this? So I think if I wanted to write an email, I should have probably prepared this better, but this is just one example. So I could say, hey, recruiter name. And so in this case, it would be form.recruiter. Hey, recruiter. I saw your job posting for the blank role. So form.job title role. I think Frontly could really help in the following way. This is you would probably formulate this better, but form.ai content. So this is maybe just kind of a quick example of how this could work. I don't know if maybe the plain text block isn't the best way. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I should probably create a rich text block, just because the regular text block doesn't it's essentially disappeared. The plain text block just doesn't really support that, like the formatting in the same way. So I'm going to add a rich text block, very similar, except now I can actually do this for real. So I'll say, hey, recruiter, I saw your job posting for the job title role. I think Frontly, are you looking for ways to increase the efficiency of this role? I think Frontly could help in the following way. I actually can't remember what the output was like. Let's see. So the output, Frontly can enhance the efficiency. You know what? So I might not even need to put this. In this case, I guess I would just do that. AI form content, and let me know if you want to learn more. Patrick at Frontly. There you go. This is a very basic example. Obviously, you would spend more time really thinking about the actual sales email that you're sending, but this is just to showcase that you can create content with AI. You can sort of chuck that content into other content and possibly build a system where you kind of go through job posting by job posting, use AI to generate a kind of a specific part, and then go from there. So this doesn't look very fancy in the preview mode, but I am kind of curious to see what this looks like in the live mode. So we're already on this editor page. If I go like this, there you go. So you can see it says, hey, John Smith, I saw your job posting for an admin assistant role. You can see that this has injected the data in here. So that's maybe in this case we'd even put the background on for the for the rich text block. So yeah, that's just kind of a cool thing you could do. And then you could, you could copy and paste this into your email system or whatever you want to do. There's another way. I won't go through the whole process because it's almost identical, but I just want to articulate that if you did want to do the same action process that I set up here, on this job postings page, if you wanted to have the same action where, you generate content with AI, add it to a Google Sheet, navigate to a page, all that, you could do the exact same thing, but you could do it from a page that was like a list in a table, for example. So let me just show you what I mean. So imagine that I did have a nice list of job postings that I legitimately wanted to go through. Like maybe I already went through and copied and pasted hundreds of job postings in here. What I could do is, instead of having to have it happen through a form submission, I could also just have it all happen through a row click. So, or a row drop down action. So I could have an action in here that says generate, AI, summary or whatever we want to call it. And then you could go through, you'd set up the exact same processes. The only difference is, instead of using the form variable, like form dot description, you would just go record dot description. And then that would be taking the record variable is the record that you've clicked on. And in this case, if I just go into, let's see, maybe a better example would be to actually show you would be this notification. So, I'll just put record dot description here. Oops, it's actually job description, so that's important. So all I've done is set the notification to just show the job description. And so now if I go back to my app, I can go to my job list. And if I were to go here and, I wanted this, basically just a faster system. So I could be like going through and I could force it to generate just whenever I want. I could do that. And this is just literally the job description. So that's a notification, but you can create your own custom system in whatever workflow you're looking for. So anyway, there's a kind of an end-to-end tutorial of how to build a fairly simple AI app that can suit your own needs. In my case, it was for generating some customized, summarized content to go into a personalized sales email. And you could do something very similar or something very different. There's lots of different options with AI. So thanks for watching.